What's going on, guys? I wanted to give some advice and tips to new or aspiring owner-operators here in 2022. Give my 2 cents on the matter, and maybe I can help some people out. You know, maybe some current owner-operators can see some of this stuff and add to it down in the comments below for other people to, read and ask questions, and we can start a conversation. Just a quick background on me. I started driving when 2011 for U.S. Express, and I did some Dollar General, which sucked. Anyone who's done that knows how much that sucks. But yeah, 2011 is when I started. I did a lease purchase through KLLM for a while. I did not complete that. Went back to company, and then later on I found a smaller company. Well, I went to Baylor and tried to do their lease purchase, but after their probationary period, they take dragging their feet to let me switch from company to lease purchase. So I jumped ship there and found a company that had a smaller company that had a really good lease purchase, and they only had like 7 trucks that were doing it, and it was a really good company. That was McLeod Express. They're a small company out of Decatur, Illinois. I don't even know if they're doing lease purchase anymore, honestly, but I think there were 7 of us, and most of us completed it. It was a 2-year lease. Payments were like $407 a week, which anyone out there who might be doing one of those will tell you that's pretty damn good. It was that 2015 Freightliner I had before this, W9, and it was a great little truck, great truck. So I completed that and kept driving for them for a little while, and then I wanted to get more money because they were still paying the same rate, and it wasn't enough where fuel started to go up and everything else. So I jumped to where I am now, Great Wide, and was making more money, and then also just had the opportunity to trade that truck in for this. Here we are. So I've been driving for a little while, so I might be a little bit new to the independent owner-operator side of things. I've only been doing that for 4 years now, so there's still more out there for me to learn, obviously. And I'm not going to be talking about things like brokers and booking your own freight and staying in certain lanes and all that stuff. Your own authority type of stuff. I'm not there yet, so other people I'm sure can answer that. But this is just going to be tips for people who might be thinking about becoming an owner-operator, or that have just started being an owner-operator in 2022. My first advice or tip would be not to do it yet. It's a very cyclical career time with trucking. It's always doing this, and right now we are at a bottom with the rates are crap. Fuel prices are high. It does it every couple of years, so it's almost like they do it to weed out the bad business people, and then they'll go back up. And about that time, I would say jump in. Right now, with trucks being as expensive as they are, fuel being as expensive as it is, trailers being as expensive as they are, it's just not. And I'll tell you right now, there's no driver shortage. There's too many drivers, and I think they're pushing for more drivers, because the more drivers there are that move the cheap freight, the more cheap freight they move, the more money these brokers or carriers or shippers, whatever, save. So yeah, so I would hold off. And while you're holding off, and one of the biggest things you can do, and I got to look at my list here, so I'm trying to stay on subject here. But one of the biggest things or advice that I could have to give to you would be to have your own personal finances squared away. Like, don't go buying your own truck, having some huge $3,000 a month truck payment, and you also have 2 cars, a mortgage, 3 credit cards, student loans, whatever the heck it might be, because you're just setting yourself up for failure. And this is not good. I would have most, if not all, of that stuff almost as debt-free as you could possibly be, because you have to remember, especially if you go out on your own, you're going to have to get your own insurance unless you're on like your spouse's plan. So this is stuff you need to be thinking about, because it's very expensive out here. So I keep looking because I'm next in line over here to get unloaded. It's been 3 hours already. So yeah, have your finances at home squared away. Also, I would say you need to be able to fix your own shit. How you need to bring some tools with you. You need to know how to use some tools, some basic stuff at least. You know, have a little ratchet set, and I would say have a wiring, like butt connectors and all that stuff to fix little wiring issues that you might have. Because you don't want to be stuck on the side of the road because a wire shorted out, or a ground wire broke or something, and you have to go spend $400 or $500 to get towed, and you find out that it was, oh, I could have fixed it myself with the butt connector. You know, you don't want that. So have some basic stuff with you so you can fix your own stuff. And another example is on the back of this trailer, there's on the wheel, there's like a rotational counter thing that tracks how long and how far it's been. This trailer got lent out to someone, and then I got it back, and there's 2 bolts on a bracket to hold it on, and one had broke, and it was spun over like this, just stuck on the wheel. It's still spinning, but it was going to fall off. So a lot of people would have probably taken that somewhere to get it fixed. I took the bolt out, went to the hardware store, matched it up, got 2 new bolts, put it back in. It cost me $2, and no downtime. So you need to be able to do some stuff by yourself, just to save yourself, because these shops will kill you. They will kill you. Almost seems intentional. That they'll get you in, they'll tell you they'll get you right in, it'll be an easy job, and then 4 days later you got 5 different things done, and you spent thousands of dollars, and you lost thousands of dollars of revenue. Sorry, I don't want to go on tangents. I might have a little bit of salt on me. So, okay, another thing, so this would be like the third tip, I guess, would be to not idle your truck as much as humanly possible, because you need to control your expenses. Your fuel is your greatest expense, maybe other than your truck payment if you're crazy. But your fuel is the most important thing, or the most expensive variable in your budget. So saving as much of that as you can is best. I mean, if you have to idle the truck, it sucks. I mean, I would try not to as much as you can, but I know in the summer and the winter time you might have to if you don't have a bunk heater. But I would, in those cases, you need to invest in the truck or in your business to save money, because an APU or a bunk heater or a generator like I put on this truck with this AC unit here, so they're blowing cold, they will pay for themselves. If you do the math, if you were to idle the truck 10 hours a day, that's just for night. So let's say you did a shipper receiver, that's 14 hours, say 2 hours to unload, 2 hours to load, so it would be 14 hours a day. Say you do that 5 days a week, 70 hours, say it's roughly a gallon an hour that you're idling. So take that times $6 a gallon, $420 a week just idling the truck, bare minimum there, if you're sleeping in 2 hours. So I mean, if you had a generator, diesel APU or whatever, you would cut that down by a lot. I mean, I don't know the exact, but instead of it being a gallon, like a diesel generator would be a gallon per 10 hours versus gallon per hour. So you cut that down by 10. So it would save you a lot of money and pay for itself. Oh, part of that as well with your expenses is knowing your cost per mile. You know all of your fixed expenses, all of your variable you have fixed over here. That's like your truck payment if you have one, your insurance payment, your ELD, everything that comes out the same every week. You need to know those things and then be able to add your variable to that and know how much it costs you to move that truck. And then with that, if you're picking your own freight, I mean, I know people like to say don't move cheap freight, and I agree, but cheap to everyone is different. So if you know your cost per mile and a run is going to pay you based on your fixed expenses or based on your cost per mile, it might not be cheap for you. It might be a moneymaker for you based on your situation. So if you know that, you can grab those loads and go. And then, leave the dirt cheap ones for those brokers to suck on. And then they'll bring them back up. But you need to know that stuff. See, we talked about that. Maintaining your equipment. Obviously, this is your business. You need to take care of it. If you're doing, oil changes, I would not be doing 40, 50,000 mile oil changes like some of these carriers. I've seen some carriers. I was in a truck that had the sticker that told you when its next oil change was based on the odometer. It was 70,000 miles. That's stupid, and they only do that because they're in a warranty period and they don't give two shits about that engine and it's under warranty. So once it's done, they're going to sell it anyway, so they don't care. And then we buy those trucks, So if you have one of those trucks, I would go 15, 20,000 tops, especially if you have a DPF filter in your truck, because that's why your oil gets so black so quick, is because as soon as you change it, that soot is just back in the oil and you're just throwing that soot around. So don't go 40, 50,000 miles and then expect to get a mil out of your engine. You're not going to do it. You need to change it. I don't care if necessarily if you use full synthetic oil, if you use a blend, or use conventional. Do whatever you can afford to change as often as you can, at least on a regular. Like I do between 12 and 15,000 miles is when I change my oil, and I'm on a full synthetic. I still do it that way. But you want the most miles per gallon out of your truck, and you want the longevity out of your truck. So you need to take care of it, and that means getting those brakes done, getting those DOT inspections done, changing the air filters yourself, because why pay a shop for that? Getting the fuel filters and the oil filters done with your PMs, which just have the PM. It doesn't really save you a whole lot of money to do it yourself. I haven't seen it that way, but if you can do it yourself, that's great. But getting rid of the oil can be a problem. And I would also say a great thing to have, and every truck driver should have, is a CB radio, especially if you think about what happened on where was it in the mountains this year? 81 or 80, where they had the whiteout and there was like a 70 car truck pileup. I mean, I'm sure people were on their CB radios warning people ahead, and if some of those had the CBs and heard it, they could have stopped and not been part of it. So having that CB radio can really help yourself and others. I want to see other truck drivers succeed out here. So hopefully some of this stuff resonates with you guys. I think I've gone over everything on my little list here. I think, a lot of the main stuff. If you're able to do a lot of this stuff that I talked about, especially finances wise, because you need to think of yourself as a business, you have a good chance for success. Especially keeping your payments as low as you can. You don't need to come out here and your first time doing it and have a $3,000 truck payment. I mean, unless you're getting a brand new truck with warranty, and maybe that'll help out a little bit. But even then, God, I can't imagine a truck payment that high. Unless you're running teams or you have something for sure. But in this market, I would wait. I would hold off. But anyway, guys, let me know down below what other drivers tips that I might have for you. One other thing I would like to think of would be keep your door shut and drive. Don't be one of those guys that's at a truck stop every 2-3 hours taking a break. I don't know. I mean, if you can't come out here and hustle and get those wheels moving, you maybe need to rethink what you're doing. Anyway, sorry, I could go on for a long time about a lot of this stuff, because I've been doing it for a while and I'm trying to be successful, and I want to share what I've done and what I know and to make everyone else successful. So Biggest thing is your expenses and keeping them as manageable as possible. So anyway, I'm gonna stop. Let me know down below what you guys think. Different tips or advice that you want to give to others or share, or that I missed, because I'm sure there's stuff that I've missed. You know, I just sort of come up with these things and share what's important and what I can think, what I'm thinking of on the time. You know, it takes me a couple days sometimes, and I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff as well. You can be a little bit more specific, but those right there are solid tips that will help anyone. So, thank you guys. Stay safe. Keep earning that money. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.